I guess you could say that clickbaiting is a process where you have online media, especially online media, posting or producing materials that are not actually newsworthy, but are just created for the user to click on the link, to visit the website, and then be more or less completely disappointed by the content that is presented on the website.
But why they are used?
They're basically used for, I guess you could say, one major purpose, and that is generating traffic onto the website. So you have links with titles, with let's say flashy picture or other material posted on social media. So the users of social media are triggered enough, are interested enough to click on the link, and so that they visit a website where the whole article is presented.
But somehow that doesn't make sense to me. Like if I click once and see that what was shown on the box is not in the box, I will not take that manufacturer's box ever again.
Well, I guess you could say that is one of the bad things that happen with using too much or using clickbait at all. Users become aware of the practices of certain media, and they start to ignore them. On the other hand, I guess you could say that users in general online are behaving like goldfish. They have very short memory, they don't remember, and at the same time these clickbait titles and links are really creative and are really, I guess you could say there's a kind of psychological game in play where you figure out what is the thing that the user will most likely click. So if it's about, let's say, your favorite TV star or your favorite, I don't know, actor or your favorite sports person or your favorite band, you're surely to click on it. And that's the, I mean, if you look at the practices, if you look at most common examples, it's either of a person dying, of a person having, let's say, a terrible accident, of some event happening that is related to you or is dear to you, and these are the things that attract you, and they basically trick you into clicking something that you think will be valuable to you.
But all this clicking, it has its purpose, and its purpose is to make money somehow.
Yeah.
And why is that connection of advertising and marketing on one side and online media so strong, much stronger than connection of advertising and traditional media in the age before?
Well, for that, you have to go back into realizing why the media went online in the first place. So when the media outlets first came into contact with online environment, they basically were presented with a challenge. Okay, so this is now an empty media space we have to fill. It has some potential in terms of reaching other audience that, let's say, do not read newspapers or do not listen to our listen to our radio program or watch our TV program. And on the other hand, they were trying to figure out what would be the monetization behind that. In the beginning, there was no monetization because since the online media was recent and new, the publishers were more interested into generating traffic, to generating visits, to generate how do we, okay, so now we got our content online. How do we make it? How do we make the users click on it? How do we make the users come to our site and see that content? And in that period, a crucial thing happened. In my opinion, the users perceived the internet as this World Wide Web where everything is free, or the costs of production or the payment of the costs of production is not transparent, is not visible. So you, for example, take Facebook. Everything is free, and it always will be, as they say on the on the front page. But in reality, you pay your entry fee to Facebook with your personal data, with your exposure to advertising, with your data points, and that's how Facebook makes money. It was similar in the online media business, except for one crucial reason. Crucial difference. The media didn't know how to make money online, so they thought up of this advertising model. They set up visits or clicks or unique visitors as a currency, and they started trading that currency with the advertisers. So they said, okay, we have a website, there's an article, I don't know, 10,000 people sees this article. This is basically 10,000 people seeing your ad next to the article. And that worked for a while, at least until the advertisers didn't really care about the effectiveness of online advertising. So the budget was split, I don't know, 40% went into TV, 30% went into print, let's say 20% went into radio, and 10%, I hope I'm adding this right, went online. And for that 10%, they really didn't care what's the effect. They just said, okay, we'll do this to be, you know, fancy and up to date and stuff. When the economic crisis came, I think the first major difference was that the advertising agencies and the companies behind them, or the companies who hired advertising agency to do their advertising, started to request some form of let's say effect confirmation of the advertisement. So they said, okay, now we're paying you, I don't know, 10 million euros for advertising. We want to see what you did with that million that you invested in online advertisement. And that's another crucial point that happened. And then they realized that there really isn't, they don't have a metric good enough to provide the companies who were paying for that advertisement to really show the effect of online advertisement. And then they started, you know, betting on the clickbaiting, on other schemes to sort of say, okay, look, but we don't have, I mean, there's no real effect, but a lot of people are seeing these ads. And now we're in a bit of a, I guess you could say, vice. On one side, we know, or we see that the online advertising is not working because of everything that happened before. And on the other hand, nobody really wants to pay for the news online, because the news got deformed in the process. So all this clickbaiting, all this, I mean, scandalous news, all this you know, shock value of news really decreased the general value of online media. And now they're basically selling something, or trying to sell something that nobody wants to buy because there's no reason to buy it.
Can you maybe explain a bit how we can corrupt this system from our side, because this system is already very corrupted? On the other side, on the example of Better Media Project.
Yeah.
And
yeah. Well, to disrupt this system, it's actually really easy. I mean, you have, on one side, you have the advertisers, on the other side, you have the media websites. These things are intertwined. They're basically feeding off each other. The advertisers need the media to place their ads, and the media need the advertisers to pay them for placing their ads. The Better Media Project that started, I think now it's 2 or 3 years ago in Slovenia, was basically an exercise in disruption of the media advertising model. What we did was basically said that there's a tabloid in Slovenia called Slovenske novice that posted several articles about this tragic story about a headmaster in a local school, which ended the whole story ended with this headmaster, because of media pressure and everything else. He committed suicide, and I was tracking this story, and when that happened, the media sort of pulled back and said, okay, look, we had nothing to do with this. We were just reporting on it. We didn't do anything. They forgot to mention that, you know, the pressure, the constant badgering of this person who wasn't media savvy, who didn't know how to respond to that, who was probably at one hand handling a personal crisis, on the other hand trying to fend off the media, and that the media was a significant part in him committing suicide. And so I said, okay, up until now we had two ways of regulating the media. One way was the famous self-regulation, where the media creates their own, let's say, ethic court, and they regulate themselves. You have the courts and the law and let's say, I guess, the government to regulate the media with laws and articles, and that was basically it. Nobody paid attention to the advertisers who were financing or who are still financing the media content. And on the other hand, nobody paid attention to the viewers, to the readers, to the customers of these products. So what I did was basically did an Excel sheet of all the advertisers who advertise on Slovenske novice website, on the tabloid website, and on the other hand, I made print screens of their ads next to the content. So you had an ad for "Let's all be beautiful" next to the content. I don't know, the title was, and I'm not kidding, this was an actual title, "He was killing him while watching television." And then I made a list, and then I asked the companies who placed the ads on the website, I asked them, okay, is this okay with you? You as a company who poses as a socially responsible company, who has these programs of social responsibility and corporate integration, is this okay with you that your ads are showing next to the content, the tabloid content? And the companies responded really fast, and they said, no, this is of course not okay with us, we don't agree with that, and they started to pull their ads off of the tabloid website. What happened was basically I think it was less than 3 weeks, we basically killed off the online advertising of the biggest tabloid in Slovenia. And that worked because on one side you had the pressure of the public, the viewers, the readers, the users were really excited about participating, and on the other hand, it worked because we, I think, targeted the right nerve. We showed where the connection between the advertisers and the media is made, and we showed how it can be severed, how it can be cut.